How do you give a voice agent business-specific information inside VAPI? Are you adding this information inside the prompt? Are you adding it via tool call? Or are you adding it directly inside the model? With so many options, it's so tough to choose. However, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you should add company-specific information inside your VAPI voice assistant, which method you should use, and which method you should avoid in order to get the best results. So to get started, I want to show you immediately what are the 3 methods that you have available in order to add company information inside the VAPI voice assistant. And the reason behind it is that I want you to have clarity already on what are your options and what is the pros and cons of each and every single one of them. The first option is to add the information directly inside the system prompt. What are you seeing here? I'm on the VAPI dashboard and I am on the assistant here menu. And my assistant is called Riley. You can simply create a new one by pressing this button right here, and then it will prompt you to create a new assistant. And what I did was just simply pre-populating a few fields with the help of the AI from VAPI, so I didn't create anything here. The provider for my model is OpenAI. I put GPT 4.1 mini. Because if you are using this, most likely this is the best model that you have available in order to add information inside the prompt, because 4.1 mini can understand context and it's the best one basically. And here you see that the assistant speaks first, means that when I call the assistant, things that we will be doing later, the assistant answers immediately and the assistant will be the first one to speak. And this will be the message that the assistant will say. So it will say, "Thank you for calling Shopee online store. This is Riley, your online assistant. How may I help you today?" Now, the system prompt is generated with the AI. So I simply said, generate me a top-level prompt for Shopee's online store. And you will see that here there is the regular guidelines. So identity, you are an online assistant for Shopee's online store, committed to helping customer with their inquiries and providing seamless shopping experience. As we mentioned, the information that we have to provide inside should be provided in the first method inside the prompt. I created already an FAQ here. So you will see that here you will have help and FAQs, so general information with company randomly created by the GPT, order and payment, order modification, shipping delivery, like a lot of things that an e-commerce could have, inside their FAQ. So how you would do this is you would go right here and let me zoom in so you better see here. And you would add this like this and like this, and you would add here company information. And here you would simply paste everything, right? This is the first method that you have available. However, it's very tough to control this type of prompt in terms of quality and in terms of performance. And why is that? Because if you add directly the company information inside the prompt, first of all, if it's not you maintaining the prompt, this could be an issue, right? Because someone could introduce a mistake that then would become very difficult to spot because it's everything inside the prompt. The prompt becomes massive and that's very tough. But then also in terms of performance, sometimes it happens that if you have all the information inside here, and I don't know, you connected this to a WhatsApp chat, sometimes it happens that when clients are calling, then the agent would send the URL in the call, which makes no sense, right? Like you would never send the URL in a call because there is no way that you can press it. So for this very reason, this is very prone to hallucination and it's very hard, as mentioned, to control the quality. However, this is already the first method that you have available. Now, the second method that you have available is to add the information directly inside the files. If you go at the very bottom of the system prompt right here, you will notice that at the end there is a files and there is select files. So here, pressing this drop-down menu is where we will be able to add the files right here. However, we need first to insert the file inside VAPI in order for the agent to be able to access it, right? And where do we do this? We do it in More, right here, and then you will find Files. And in here, you will notice that I have already uploaded the file, which is the same one that I showed you before. So this is my TXT file inside my desktop. And here you will be able to add it. How do you do that? There is a button which is upload files right here, and it will just allow you to upload it. Once you did it, I, by the way, recommend to have it in TXT format. And if you notice right here, it's in Markdown, which is basically a way to represent plain text in a structured way. This allows the data to be easier to retrieve because there is a sort of hierarchy to the text. And also, it makes it easier for the AI agent to understand what the information are, and it helps it like read it better, basically. Now, once you add it right here, then you go back to Assistants, and if you scroll down again into the Select Files right here, you will see that you will be able to select it. And right now, you know that you don't need to add anymore the information inside the main prompt because all of the information are added right here. Now, what is the main cons of this method? The main cons is that, unlike before, every time that you are interacting with the agent, even if, I don't know, the client asks, okay, what is the name of your online shop, which is already inside the prompt, what the agent will do is that it will query every time all of the information that are inside this file, and it will try to retrieve all of the information, and only once it's done retrieving this information, then it will answer to the customer. What are the cons of this approach? The cons are that the answer is very slow because every time you need to have all of the information retrieved, so you are increasing the latency. And it's very costly because the token that you are using per call increase exponentially, right? Because every time you are not only ingesting all of the information inside the prompt, but you are every time ingesting all of the information inside the files without discerning between, okay, this information was inside the files, so it was a good decision to go and get it, or no, it's a bad decision because I didn't need it. Right? So it's costlier, it's slower, it increases latency, and it makes the overall experience like very, very bad for the customer itself. Additionally, you also have that the overall system is more prone to hallucination. And that is given from the fact that, the context becomes bigger, more information ingested, and so on and so forth. Now, if this is not the right method still, what are the third option? The third option is, first of all, we remove the things from the file right here, and we have the option of calling tools, right? So via tool call. You have a tool call on the top and you have a tool call on the left-hand side. Here, it's generally to call tools that are already created. On the left-hand side is to create new tools. Let's make this differentiation. So for our example, we're going to focus on this tool call right here on the left-hand side. And the way you do it is that you're going to create a new tool and you're going to press query right here. Okay? Once you press query, this new tool will appear for you. And now I will delete it because I did it already. And what I did was simply pre-populating this tool with all of the information needed. So you will see that I gave a tool name, because if I give a name which is compliant with what the tool is going to do, it helps the AI agent to understand better, okay, this is a knowledge tool, so I will find knowledge. And also you will see that in the description, I also added all of the information that are necessary for the agent to understand that in this tool, there is the context of my e-commerce website. So I said use this tool to enrich your answer with relevant information whenever necessary. Now, right here, you created the tool, so you gave it a name and you gave it a description. However, inside this tool, up until here, there is still nothing, right? And when and how you add information is by pressing this Add Knowledge Base, which is basically the same thing that we did before in a way. So we are going inside our database, we are taking the TXT file and we are importing it into VAPI. So in here, you will do Add Knowledge Base, and this is basically what pops up. I gave it a name, so e-commerce knowledge base. and I gave it a description, so additional info about the e-commerce, and I gave, general info, contacts, returns, and policy. Right here, right at the end, for the same reason that we did before, so inside here and inside the files, we added the files already. Here you can access it. So you're gonna press here, press e-commerce info.txt, and then you're sorted. What is the main difference now versus the other two approaches? The difference is that because we added a tool, now the agent is able to decide autonomously if the tool needs to be called or not based on the current situation and the current request from the user. What does it mean? In the same example as we did before, if the user asks, hey, what is the name of the e-commerce shop? We know that the name of the e-commerce shop is already inside the main prompt, so there will be no need for the agent to call the tool. And this, of course, is helpful because we can, first of all, save on costs because we are ingesting tokens in a selective way, meaning that it will retrieve the information only when it's actually strictly necessary. Then we are improving in speed because then we are going to be able to answer faster, right? We are reducing hallucination, and overall, the system is just leaner, it's less latency, and so on. So this method is by far the best. So now that we have added the knowledge base in such a way, let's give the agent a call. So we're going to go into the assistant, and on the top right-hand corner, you see talk to the assistant. And let's actually also decide what is an information worth asking. So if we go right here, we can ask, okay, shipping and delivery, start and shipping days. Okay, so how long would it take for me to receive my package, right? Let's go with express shipping. So this is the information that we're going to ask the assistant.
Thank you for calling Shopee's online store. This is Riley, your online assistant. How may I help you today?
I would like to know how much it will take for my package to arrive if I used express delivery.
With express shipping at Shopee's, your package will typically arrive within 2 to 3 business days after it ships. Once your order is shipped, you'll receive a tracking link by email to monitor its progress. If you have any other questions about your order or shipping, feel free to ask.
Perfect. So now we retrieved all of the relevant information, so I can end the call. And one thing that I want to show you before we move on to the bonus tip, which is the fourth way of adding, and to give you a bit of more context in the situation in which this methods might be good, but it might lack some flexibility, is you see that here it's the thank you for calling and etc. And that is exactly the message that we said right here. And then right here, we know 2 to 3 business days, so we can validate that the information that it retrieved is correct. Fantastic. Now, with that being said, I just want to score these 3 methods real quick for you to have the full understanding, and then I move into a bonus tip. So the best method in order is this one, of course. We said faster calls, less latency, lower costs, more flexibility, less hallucination, less token ingestion, and so on. The second best method is adding the information inside the prompt itself. So literally copy pasting it in here, okay? Even though it's not strictly recommended because of the quality issue that we were mentioning, it's still better than using the files right here. And the worst one is the files. And the reason is because you're just continuously injecting even non-relevant information inside the model. Now that you saw all of the 3 methods, and you know that for the majority of the application, the tool calling, just like we did right now, it's the best method. Let me give you a bit of understanding of when this method might not be like the best. Let's imagine that you are supporting a real estate agency, and in your query, you need to retrieve data, but filtering them. So I don't know, the houses in Milan that are above 50K, a year rent. So mentions, like, I don't know who would pay 50K a year rent. I for sure will not. Anyway, in order to do that, you need one thing which is called metadata. which is used, as I mentioned, to filter the things. And in this application, you don't really have the possibility of doing it, specifically not with these tools, right? Additionally, the limitation that I'm seeing right here is that if you add a tools right here, then you would need to create a tool, and this would not allow you to, I don't know, use something external that you have already created and maybe it's already custom. So how do you fix that? The other way, and the fourth and most difficult way to implement, is to add a function, which is basically a custom tool. And right here, to make an example which is maybe clearer, you see that you have a server URL. And that is how you would be able to add a custom tool that, I don't know, maybe you want to connect it with your make.com, with your NA10, or with a custom tool that you developed, or a Supabase that it's already used from your company, and etc. And this is how you would be able to do that. So just for you to have an understanding, there is also a fourth method, which is for a much more advanced application, which is the function method. Now, with that being said, I really hope you found value in the video and that you now have a little bit more clarity on what are your options to insert custom knowledge inside your VAPI voice assistant. And also that you now have an understanding of what is the best method and what is the method that you should be avoiding and why. And if you're a 9-to-5er trying to scale an AI agency or to start it, feel free to check my first link down below. It's my free Skool community where I share and support with a bunch of free material on how you can do that. So with that being said, I'll catch you all in the next video.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.